And hello out there from Nashville, Tennessee. It's time once again for Stage Door Nashville. Hello, I'm Bill Dunnavant, along with Bob Dunnavant, and for the next hour, we'll entertain you here on this radio station with artists from the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, and their big records. Stay tuned here on Stage Door Nashville for the next hour for the best in country and western artists here on this radio station. We'll be back in just 60 seconds with our first artist, but first, here's your local announcer with this important message.
We're very fortunate to have some people that we haven't had before. We've seen them around the Opry a lot, but we have not been able to get with them when their schedule and ours got together. They are on the road an awful lot and have been for many years. Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper of the Clinch Mountain Gang. Stoney, how are you today?
Well, pretty good. How are you, Bob?
Everything is fine. Wilma Lee is just as pretty as ever, Wilma Lee.
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you, Bob.
You people are originally from Virginia, is it?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. What part of West Virginia?
Well, that would be in the eastern area.
Near Wheeling? Oh, no.
No, it's further southeast than Wheeling.
That's the western area. I was getting my directions.
Yes. Well, of course, if I mentioned the town, you wouldn't recognize it, or I don't imagine anybody else would, but Harmon, West Virginia. But I think the best probably identification would be Elkins, West Virginia, where she and I both were raised in and around smaller towns. Elkins, of course, has their college there, the D&E College, and to some people this might spot the area.
Well, I think you worked in Wheeling a good while before you came to Nashville, is that correct?
Yes, we were at Wheeling 10 years before we came here.
Now, didn't you work, or am I confused, didn't you work the Old Dominion Barn Dance over in Richmond, too?
Yes, we did. We were there a year. I don't know, they kept trying to get us down there, and so we decided to go for a year, just broke away from Wheeling. We sort of had an understanding, and then when that contract was up, then we came back to Wheeling again. So outside that 1 year, we were there 10 years.
Among the other things that you people have done well on, I'm sure you've done well on this, on singing, show business, you have a very lovely daughter, and our in-laws, along with the Hank Snows. I suppose you get along with them all right.
Well, pretty good, yes. They're very, very nice people. Hank and his lovely wife, Min. This is one of the finest ladies I've ever known, Bob. And when somebody's sick or something goes wrong, Min is always there. She always finds that time, and this is something about her.
Hank is a real nice fella, considering the time he has to
That's right.
To do anything, and he really
He's
is.
so much like the rest of us, we're out a lot, and if we're not out, we're just leaving, and things of that type. So it really don't give us, like Hank, as much time like that, but Hank has been to see me. I know when I had an illness back in '62. Made it a point, and he was on schedule then for a write-up in some magazine, and he only had about an hour to spend with me, but he took that hour, already dressed for the appearance, for the picture taken, and everything. So I thought it was quite nice of him.
It was nice. I think that most of the singers and entertainers here at the Opera and in country music are extremely nice compared to any kind of show business you want to. Wilma Lee, how long have you and Stoney been married? Is that a personal question?
No, it's not that personal. Stoney and I have been married 28 years.
Well, you have me just a little.
Have to think about that.
Well, now you have a grandchild, the littlest Snow, I know. I saw it the other day. Real cute.
Vanessa Delane, yes. She was 7 years old, 19th of September.
Now, is this the only child you have, just a daughter?
Yes, Carolee's our only child, and Vanessa's our only grandchild.
I really feel sorry. They're very fortunate in a way, but I'm an only child, too, and I kind of feel sorry for them in a way, because right now I think I miss my brothers and sisters more than I did then. I have a big family of boys to take care of it, though.
Oh, is that right? Well, you're lucky.
6, to be exact.
Carol was an only child, and also Jimmy was the only child of Hank and Min, her husband. They're both only children.
I knew that Jimmy Rogers Snow. Of course, Hank Snow and Ernest Tubb are great Jimmy Rogers fans, you know.
That's right.
What I would like to do now, if you don't mind, get you two people to introduce a good song for us, and let's go from there, and then we'll be right back, Stoney.
All right, could we introduce one of our own?
That's what I want you to, yes.
I want to be kissed, but only by your lips, dear. For you're the only one who'll ever do. I want someone to hug and call me honey. I want to be loved, but only by you. I want someone to help me in my sorrow, and someone whose heart is always true, and someone who'll stay with me forever. I want to be loved, but only by you. I want to be kissed, but only by your lips, dear. For you're the only one who'll ever do. I want someone to hug and call me honey. I want to be loved, but only by you. Kissed, but only by your lips, dear. For you're the only one who'll ever do. I want someone to hug and call me honey. I want to be loved, but only by you.
And then Wilmley is coming out right away. She'll have one coming out, I think it's a week before the convention.
Yes, a week before the convention, we'll have a new record out. I have one side of it, and then the group does the other side.
What's it going to be, Wilma?
The side that I'm coming with is called The Right to Love, and the group side's called Not My Kind. But they're going with the ballad side, which is mine, called The Right to Love.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. You people are going to be in town for the convention?
Yes, we're usually here when the convention takes place. Since we work at the Grand Ole Opry, they like to have all their acts in.
I think almost everyone else is. We have a live show each day. The location has been being on the street up in front of the, between the Hermitage and the Andrew Jackson, right in front of American Airlines. Mm-hmm. Get a chance in the afternoon, stop by and say howdy to all of our listeners.
All right, we'll certainly do that.
Wilma Lee and Stoney.
It's been our pleasure indeed, Bob, and thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Stoney. It's been ours. Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper, the Clinch Mountain Gang. We'll be back in just a moment. Here's another star we want you to listen to. How about it, my friend, from your local station? Here on Stage Door Nashville today, we're very honored to have a duet guest that have never been with us before on this show, and we're doubly honored because of the recent award they won. Johnny and Joni Mosby. Johnny, how are you?
Fine. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine. You're looking mighty fine there, you and Joni with your red ensembles on there, red suits. That's great.
Well, my face a little red, too. We were fishing all that day, and I think I got a little sunburned.
I was going to ask you about that. Where'd you go out, to Old Hickory Lake?
No, we were at the new lake out here. What is it? Percy Priest Lake.
Did you catch anything?
Well, yeah, I caught 4 I can talk about, and 3 or 4 that I had to throw back.
That's fine. Jody, did you go fishing today, too?
No, Johnny went with Sonny Neal. Our booking agent is Bob Neal, and Sonny's his son, so they let us stay home. Besides that, he went at 6 o'clock this morning, and I'd just as soon stay home that time.
I don't blame. Do you fish normally?
Yeah, I fish. Sometimes we go up to Indiana where my sister lives, and my brother-in-law is an expert fisherman, and he takes us out.
Where are you from? Is Indiana your home?
Oh, no, I'm from California.
Originally, right?
Uh-huh.
How about Johnny? Is he from California,
He
too?
was born in Arkansas and raised in California. We both lived there all our lives, and just recently has moved here to Tennessee.
Arkansas is turning out its share of stars these days. The I don't think we had anybody to speak of between Bob Burns and you and Glenn Campbell, right, Johnny?
Listen, I lived just right outside of Van Buren, home of Bob Burns for many years. I'll never forget that. You know, I remember years ago when you went over the bridge there, the Arkansas River, and you went into Van Buren. You never saw the sign Van Buren. You said home of Bob Burns. All you could
That's
say,
right.
Bob Burns' house this way. And it said, buy your fishing bait at Bob Burns' house.
I wonder who got hold of his old bazooka.
I don't know. Matter of fact, I think they took the signs down. I was through there a while back, and I didn't see any signs.
He was a great one in his day. How long have you people been singing, Johnny? Together, I mean.
Oh, about 10 years.
Did you meet while you were both singing? Were you both singers when you met?
Well, I had a band, and we were looking for a girl vocalist. We were working, at the time we were working old ballroom type thing, you know, where they had family type entertainment. We needed a girl vocalist.
And this is how you met Joni.
Yes, she was the only one that would work for nothing.
Is that right? She's, oh, well, no, I guess you share it now, but going from my wife and I, maybe she still works for nothing. And you're from Arkansas, but you met her in California, right?
Right, I was raised in California, went to school out there and everything.
Well, how long, Joni, have you been recording for the Capitol people?
Let's see, we've been with Capitol 4 years, or has it been that long?
Just 2.
You see, before that we were with Columbia for about 5 years. So I guess now Capitol has been 2 years.
Well, good things are happening to you.
Well, Capitol's about a really good label. I started to say the best label. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, if you're on it, I guess it would be all right to say that.
It's hard if we say that, but it is. Capitol's a good label and it's done a lot for us.
They service us mighty well, I'll have to say that. They really do. Capitol and RCA, both services, I think we get just about everything within our category.
Well, they told me if you'll play a Capitol record, they'll give you all you want.
Well, we get those things. We have your new album, by the way, which is just beautiful, and the pictures you have on the back there, it really looks like you're out living it up there, Johnny.
It was out in the weeds, wasn't it?
That was nice, though. Well, it's so unusual to see a man and wife sing together. Now, I remember Lulabelle and Scotty from years ago. You remember them?
Mm-hmm, sure do.
I saw them last convention, and she's still beautiful.
Oh.
And aside from losing a little hair, Scotty still looks fine.
He's still beautiful, too.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we do a song, Johnny? Pick out one that you'd like to do, and let's do a song, then we'll be back, okay?
Fine, let's do it.
Hold me, never let me go until you've told me what I want to know, and then just hold me, make me tell you I'm in love with you. To be sensible with our new love. Don't be fooled thinking this is the last we'll find.
Oh, but they've never stood in the dark with you, love.
When you take me in your arms and drive me slowly out of my mind, kiss me, and when you do, I know that you will miss me. If we ever say adieu, so kiss me, make me tell you I'm in love with you. Hold me, never let me go until you told me what I want to know, and then just hold me, make me tell you I'm in love with you.
Well, Ron, I think you've got a great hit on that, and it'll do well.
Well,
Incidentally, the last time I heard you people on the Ralph Emery show, I believe you were trying to sell some business back in California. Did you make it?
Well, we had been wanting to move to Nashville for quite a few years. We do most of our work back here. And it's hard, you know, just to up and move without liquidating a few things. We tried living back here and running businesses out there.
Right.
And it didn't work out.
We still have a few things going back there, but have good managers.
I believe you had a trucking firm, is that correct?
We sold that.
If you can call 2 trucks a firm, well...
Depends on how much they roll.
Pretty good. No, we still have one restaurant there that is we have leased out. The other restaurant we just sold, it's in escrow now. And if it clears escrow, well, we'll stay here.
Good. Well, I hope it clears escrow. Then we'd like to have you in Nashville.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joni and Johnny Mosby from the Grand Ole Opry now, and also from Capitol Records. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in just a moment. Here's another gentleman we want you to hear, your local announcer. Well, here's a little lady with us today on Stage Door Nashville that we've wanted to have on the show for a long time. About 10 years ago, Skeeter and I worked a show together for about 26 weeks, and Skeeter, I still play those old Ernest Jamboree tapes a lot.
Is that right? It's sure nice to see, Bob. And of course, I want to apologize. Seems like the last few weeks that I've seen you, that we keep missing each other, and I was about to miss you again tonight because I have this terrible cold, so I'm not going to do the late show. I'm going to go on home, you know. But I thought, I looked around for you, and you were gone. I thought, I'm going to miss him again. I thought, no, I'm not. I'm going to stand right here. And
well,
sure enough...
I'll tell you what causes that, Skeeter. Actually, I was waiting for you to come in and I believe sign up, register for the convention.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wanted to do that. Oh, it's right away.
I caught Joni and Johnny Mosby.
Yes, 2 of my favorite people. I'm so happy
that...
Oh, I love them. I'm glad they're here in Nashville.
I'm glad they are, too. They said that they were going to stay if they could sell this other business, and I said, well, I hope you sell it, because I'd like to have you.
I do, too. I think they're fine people. Good performers.
Skeeter, I know you've been doing a lot because I've seen you on a few shows in the last few years on TV shows, and I've listened to a lot of your records, but I haven't seen too much of you. Last week you were here, and then I think it's several weeks since you were here before.
Yes, that's right, Bob. I've had a real busy summer. I've worked a lot of fairs. In fact, this is only the 3rd appearance at the Opry that I've made since the 1st of May, so I've missed quite a lot.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd time you were here last week.
And I went out of my way to get here this week because we worked in West Virginia last night. And
Where
like I said, I had
Virginia?
this cold in Charleston. Had a beautiful...
WCHV is one of our stations there.
Well,
yeah.
we had a...
that's right.
WCAU, I bet.
No, WCHV.
Oh, WCHV you're saying.
Right.
I thought you were saying A. We had a big crowd. We had Charlie Pride and Merle Kilgore and Bobby Sykes and Don Winters on the show, and just had a wonderful audience, and it was a packed house.
Good. That's the only way to happen. We have Mate One, West Virginia, with us, too.
Yeah, good.
Skeeter, what would you like to do for us today?
Well, you know, I guess when you're kind of between records, the best thing we can do is always grab the old favorites.
Why so lonely? Why is my world in such a spin? Now he's gone, and yet I guess I still love him. Why so lonely? Why all this misery? I knew it couldn't last. He never belonged to me. If I'd been smart, I would have never taken that second chance. He hurt me once before, and now he's done it again. Why so lonely? Why is my world in such a spin? Now he's gone, and yet I guess I still love him. Why so lonely? Why all this misery? I knew it couldn't last. He never belonged to me. Why so lonely? Why
thank you very much, Skeeter, Mary Frances. I heard you talking, was it on the Ralph Emery show not very long ago about that?
No, because I haven't been up there in a long, long time. I don't know. I know I did a TV thing, and that might have been it.
Somewhere I heard you talking
I just did a TV show that, and I think it must have been this because it's the only thing where I have gone since the album came out that we did go into length about the details of it. You know, I said I finally had everybody convinced I was Skeeter, you know, because I'd been called Skeeter so long, and now they've got an album called Mary Frances. But it's nice because I did some songs that reflects like not necessarily. Were they from the time that I was small, but they just like I did a song that's one of the prettiest songs of the day, I think, but it reflects to my life at the time when I first started thinking of singing because it's a song called Clouds, or Both Sides Now that Joni Mitchell wrote. And it is just like my life over in that song. I love it so much.
Skeeter, I remember you used to do not every Saturday, but quite a few of them. It was your current hit then, back on the old Ernest Tubb show in '59. Yeah. You used to do
I know what you're going to say.
Well, it's the Judge song, but
yeah,
it's Set Him Free.
Set Him Free, that's right. And you know something?
Is that still selling some?
I started to tell you that's so funny because I never do that song anymore because it is, you know, so old, you know. And last night, I'll go to certain areas, you know, and they'll ask, and you know, they were yelling for that song from the audience.
Set Him Free.
And even backstage, this one girl said, Skeeter, I love all of your records and I've got so many of your albums. She said, but you did not sing my song. And actually, you know, so many people say End of the World, they start getting anxious for that one. And I said, well, what? And I forgot more, you know, if it's not good. I said, well, what is it? And she said, Set Him Free. So it was really something because, you know, I'll tell you, a song, not just like that, but Bobby Bear and I just recorded a song that'll be out just as soon as we can get it out. And we're finishing it up Monday. And there again, because of this cold, I didn't get to do my part too well, you know. So I'm going to go back in Monday and do it. But it's a song called Your Husband and My Wife.
Oh, that should be great.
And it's one of the best songs of that type that I've heard since probably Priscilla Mitchell and Roy Dresky's Mr. Peters, if you remember that record. We haven't had a real good song of that type for a while, so maybe this one will be it. I'm hoping so.
You know, I wrote one several years ago. I haven't been able to do anything with it. It's called Our Conscience is Stealing from the Pockets of Our Pride.
Golly, that's some
similar
title.
To that. Well, you'd have to do a parenthesis on it. It probably wound out to be Our Conscience is Stealing. See?
Yeah, well, if you think it'd be good for me and Bobby, maybe you better get it over there too. So we'll be looking for something.
I wish I would. I can't think of two people I'd rather sing it. I would Bobby was on the show about 3 weeks ago, and he is just great.
Yeah, he is. I tell you, it's just
and
a joy.
His song, Skeeter, just brings the tears to my eyes.
Yeah, well,
Which one will it be?
It does mine too. When I heard that, I just bawled. I said, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I just love it, you know.
Mary Frances Skeeter Davis, thank you for being with us today. Honey.
Thank you, Bob, and it's great to see you again.
Great
thank you.
to see you, and we'll be looking for you again in about 4 or 5 weeks here on Stage Door.
Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye. Skeeter Davis of RCA Victor in the Grand Ole Opry in just a moment. We'll be back, but here's another star I want you to hear. Speak up, my friend.
Well, my friend, that's our first half here on Stage Door Nashville part today. Stay tuned, though. Don't you dare turn that radio dial, because we've got 30 more minutes of the best in country and western stars and their music here on Stage Door Nashville on this radio station. You stay tuned for the next 30 minutes for more country music from Nashville, Tennessee. But first, let's break for station identification and this local message from your announcer. Back in 70 seconds here on Stage Door Nashville.
Here's a little lady that we had on Stage Door Nashville a few weeks ago. and she had a beautiful song out that we played, but she has a new record out, and we wanted to talk to Peggy again. Peggy Little, hi, Peg.
Hello, how are you doing?
Fine, and I believe you're from where, Peggy, originally?
Originally, I was born in Marlin, Texas.
Oh, what a great town. I've been in Marlin.
You have?
Yes, it's not too far from Dallas, is it?
Oh, it's closer to Waco than it is.
Right, between Waco and Dallas, huh?
No, on the other side of
Between San Antonio and Dallas. Well, this sounds real crazy, but when I played with Floyd Tillman, we used to pass through Marlin, Texas.
Yeah, it's a little bitty town.
Well, it's not very
It's
big.
about 28 miles south of Waco.
Well, that's it. We used to go to Waco from Houston and cut down. That's it.
Right.
I knew I'd been there. And they have a radio station there now, too, I believe, don't they, at Marlin?
Well, they did. It's moved to Waco now. It's K-Way. K-A-W-A.
Oh, is that right? Well, I didn't know they'd moved. We'll have to get on them and see if we can get them on stage door.
All right.
Do me a favor and tell them what a great show we have, okay?
I certainly will next time I'm down there.
All right. Peggy, you're living in Nashville now, right?
Right, uh-huh.
And
I've
how
been
do you
here
like
for
it
about 2 months. Oh, I love it. I love everything. I get to meet all these people that I used to listen to for years.
Do you know Johnny Swanner? Right over here, Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny handles some of the hottest of the hots. He's really a great boy. Johnny and I met on a microphone a few years ago.
Oh.
We won't say how many, Johnny. But he's doing a great job out on his agency, and he's booking, let's see, Ernest Tubb and Jack Green, Bobby
that's
Lewis.
the man.
Isn't Jack great? He's just out of this world. Billy Parker, and a number of others. Who have you been working with lately, Peggy?
Oh, you mean who's been booking me?
Right. Well, no.
Hubert Long.
I knew that Hubert booked you, but I mean, what artist have you been billed with lately?
Oh, I've mostly been working by myself.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Going into the town, do you take a band with you?
No, I use the staff band.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Make more money that way.
Oh, I've been keeping pretty busy.
Not only that, you got the star billet everywhere you go.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's unusual, isn't it? How about doing a song for us? I think you.
Wrote my mama a letter. This is what I had to say. Mom, by the time I buy some food and get the rent all paid, I won't have much money left. But I know you need some help, so I'll send what I can. I hope you understand.
long have you been with the Dot people, Peggy?
2 years now. I'm going on 3.
Looks like you and Dot have a steady romance going then.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Peggy Little, thank you so much for being with us, and we hope you'll drop by real often.
I enjoyed it.
All right,
Hope to
dear.
see you again sometime.
Thank you. We'll see you at the convention upcoming.
Oh, yes, this will be my first convention. I'm real
Ready.
proud
And
of
don't
it.
forget our live broadcast out in front of the American Airlines every year,
All righty.
weather permitting and the creek's not rising.
Oh, yes. Please.
Thank you, Peggy. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Here's a gentleman that I know liked it a lot because he told me so. He whispered in my ear, and right now he has something he wants to whisper in your ear. How about it? Here's a gentleman you've been listening to on the Grand Ole Opry for a number of years, and if I'm not mistaken, before that, down on this Freeport hayride, he has played many of the areas that have been recording for a number of years. Your friend and mine, Jimmy C. Newman. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Bob, and a big E to you.
There you are.
It's nice to be visiting with you, and thanks for having me over.
I was amused at Johnny Swanner when we started to come in and talk. He said, be sure you go and talk to the Cajun there. Jimmy is from Cajun country down in Louisiana.
Yeah,
Hi, Jimmy.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've done quite a few Cajun songs.
Yeah, I've been singing those for a good many years, and seems like those type of songs are gaining in popularity. I may have to finally do one side on every record. Probably will have to do a Louisiana type song, and those are the type songs that I feel that I can write pretty well by myself. Now the ballads I usually don't trust my lyrics too much, or I'm not sold on my lyrics enough, so usually have some help to write a ballad. But the Cajun songs I feel that I can write them okay by myself.
You and Jimmy Key have the New Keys music, I believe, together.
Right, Jim Key and Dave Dudley and myself.
Right.
We have a three-way.
David on that? I didn't know that.
Three-way partnership.
I knew that Jimmy and I were disc jockeys together a few years ago
Yeah, I
down
remember
in
you told
Coleman,
me.
Alabama.
Remember you told me about
And I remember also, Jimmy, one of your fine songs that came out a few years ago was written by James John, another old friend of mine.
Yeah?
Was one of the prettiest songs, one of the prettiest that I've heard, Fallen Star. Didn't you tell me you were going to recut that a little while ago? Or?
No, I don't think so, but he wrote another song. I think this is how this came about. He wrote another ballad for me that I plan to record. And it's a beautiful ballad. It's in the same, as we say, vein as Fallen Star.
Jimmy, speaking of ballads, I think you have one of the prettiest songs in meaning. It's a ballad that is real touching to me, that you have out on a single and on your new album.
Uh-huh.
And it's called 3. How about, while we're talking about songs, how about doing that one for us?
Well, very good. I'd like to. It's a Tom T. Hall song. It's a story song, and I think, if I may, ask the listeners to sort of listen to the story, because it tells a story so that you can draw your own conclusion after you hear it.
The day that we were married, the people shook my hand. They said we two were now as one, and me the lucky man. From that day on, that's all I ever wanted us to be, until the day you told me we'd be free. Then we began the wedding and made our little jokes. You couldn't look at monkeys, and I gave up my smokes. You prophesied he'd be a boy and look a lot like me. Lord, but I was proud that we'd be free. One night, the endless days of waiting all came to an end. You woke me from my restless sleep and said we must go in. The sun won't rise on any day again like that for me. The day
had come when two would soon be three. I smoked that endless burning chain of bitter cigarettes. I must have walked 1,000 miles with fear in every step. 2 long days and 2 long nights, and I refused to sleep. And they were losing hope that we'd be free. The preacher came, the doctor came, they said I must be brave. I remember saying it was more than I could take. Now what's the world to do with such a crazy man like me? A lonely one who wanted to be free.
I think it's will be one of your better records because it does have a story, a very sad story. And I listened to that one when we first got it in the other day, and that one and the new one by Bobby Bare. Which one to choose if you've heard that one?
Yeah,
two of the greatest songs I've heard in a long time.
Thank you.
Jimmy, you live in Nashville now, right?
That's right. I'm a transplanted Cajun.
That's right. But you've been here. Didn't you work the Shreveport Hayride before you came here?
I was at the Hayride from 54 to 56, and I came here from the Hayride.
You were on the, when I was working down in Houston, you were on the Hayride, and we started the old Houston Hoedown there for a while, you know.
Yeah, well, I played that show. Were you there when I played it?
I was at KYOK and KNUZ some there.
Is that right? Well, I remember playing, George Jones and I were on one night, the same night together. When
George was there, and then George Jones, who's the guy you used to sing with?
Sonny Burns?
Sonny Burns. They had a great Wrong About You. It was a great song.
They used to do a duet together all the time, you know. George, people don't know this probably, but George Jones was a heck of a very commercial guitar picker, as you recall.
Still is.
I bet he is, but you couldn't get him to play lead. But George was not a fancy guitar picker. He was just a commercial, as we call it in the trade. And of course, back then he did a duet act with Sonny Burns.
Yeah, and it was great. They had one out there. It was on the original Star Day, which was born in Houston. Then they sold out and moved to Nashville. Jimmy, do you remember a fellow named Link Davis that used to play with Floyd Tillman?
Yes, I hear about Link every once in a while. I hear he's around Houston, and
he did a great Cajun job himself.
Yes, for not being a Cajun, I think he did a terrific job.
Well, he married a Cajun now, I think.
Yeah. She was. I met his wife. She's a Cajun girl.
Oh, they were great people, and of course...
Leon, excuse me. The late Leon Payne was a very good friend of everybody in the business. Of course, he just passed away a couple of weeks ago, and his wife was a Cajun girl, too, in San Antonio.
Well, something must have given him some inspiration, because Leon wrote some of the prettiest songs that's ever been recorded.
They weren't Cajun songs. They were just fantastic country ballads.
And Leon was blind all of his life, wasn't he?
I think so.
Jimmy, we've talked about everybody but you, just about it. Jimmy C. Newman. What do you plan to do in the near future, Jimmy? Do you have anything coming up that we don't know about you'd like your listeners to know about?
Well, I become a regular member of the Grand Ole Opry again. I had been away for a while.
I was going to say again, I know you used to be.
For a few months I was away. And so I've become a new member October 1st. And I'm proud to be back. Wonderful people to work with. And, of course, by coming back, I get to visit with people like you, Bob, again, and see you. And consequently, my memory works a little better when I see friends a little often, you know.
Mine too, Jim. It's hard to remember, it really is. But it's nice to have you with us today, and I want to wish you a lot of luck on your new album and on 3.
Thank you very much, and it's been great. And until the next time, I'll see you a while ago.
Okay, Jimmy. Jimmy C. Newman of the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. Don't forget to pick up that new record, 3. I think you'll enjoy it. Here's a gentleman we want you to hear right now. He's from your local radio station, and he has a message we want you to hear about a wonderful sponsor. From Stage Door, Nashville, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor today to have a gentleman who has been in country show business, and I say this sincerely and not jokingly, a lot longer than I have, and I've been in it a mighty long time. Swatter, if you know that. But this gentleman has been in it since I can first remember listening to my radio. Of course, back down on the farm, Duke, we didn't We didn't have radios for a long time, and we finally got them. But he started out, or at least he was on the Beulah Plantation Party. He worked the Grand Ole Opry for a number of years. He's recording for the RCA Victor people. And I just know that with all of the radio and television that this gentleman is no stranger to any of you. I'll give you Whitey Ford, the Duke of Paducah. Hello, Whitey.
That's the fellow that says, I'm going to the wagon. These shoes are killing me.
That's right.
And if I didn't say that, they wouldn't know who I was, you know. Of course, they get me confused with that Whitey Ford with a baseball pitcher. Now, there's a difference between he and I, see. He is about 40 years old and rich, and I'm 68 and still working.
Duke, you taught me something. You didn't know it one time, but you taught me a joke that you pulled, which is the greatest I've ever seen. I never mastered it like you did, but the candle joke. You recall
Oh,
that?
yeah, I told that, and that's not original with me. That was been doing 100 years before I. But I have a style of doing it. I did it in a movie one time, and I didn't know anything about movies, and this director had me doing it, and I said, well, this is not the way I do it for an audience. I said, this is not funny. He said, well, you wait till you see it in the theater and it'll be funny. So when I sat down out in the theater with the audience and watched it, it was funny, you know.
Well, you certainly do it live. I've seen, I think I saw you do it at the convention here a few years ago. Whitey Ford, you prefer to be called the Duke of Paducah or Whitey Ford?
Well, most of them call me Whitey. That's just a nickname from school days, you know, because I was white-headed. And I'm not gray-headed yet.
Certainly not.
I still got about the same kind of hair, what's left of it.
Well, you still got plenty of hair there, too, Duke. I always called you the Duke of Paducah. Now, where did you come about that title?
Well, I got that on a radio station in St. Louis, Missouri, radio station KWK, and I'd been doing an act in vaudeville. And we got out of vaudeville and Ken went to work for the WLS National Barn Dance. And we had played down in DeSoto, Missouri. Incidentally, that's where I was born, but I was raised in Arkansas. And we played down in DeSoto and came into St. Louis that night, and some of the boys we knew around, they all got together, and they said, why don't you go out to KWK and audition tomorrow? He said, they're looking for people for a big show that we have every Monday night. It was called a minstrel show. However, I didn't do a minstrel man in it. I just did regular old Duke. And they hired me, and the fella gave me the name Duke of Paducah. And I said, well, give me that for? He was from Paducah. And so, since then, I found out that Irving Cobb, the famous humorist, was the first one to ever be called the Duke of Paducah. And it was somebody just called him that offhand. He never used the name. Somebody used it before I used it in vaudeville. And so after I got on the network and got to going where Irving Cobb, before he passed on, heard me, and he said somebody ought to do something for him. He's given Paducah more publicity than I ever did. So they got me down there, a man named Fred Newman, and they made me an honorary citizen, an honorary mayor, and a Paducahn by adoption. And now over in Paducah, they don't make you to Kentucky Colonel over there anymore. They make you a Duke of Paducah. Oh, yeah.
You're the original Duke of Paducah. Duke, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. And I would like to have you do your new record for us, this new RCA record. How about it?
Well, it's called The Fast Talking Agent. And it's a real fabulous thing. It was written by Vaughn Horton. Vaughn has written many hits. He's had 15 gold records on his writings, and then he rewrote 2 of the gold records and got a gold record on a rewrite. You know, he wrote Mockingbird Hill and Chattanooga Choo Choo and Choo 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 Boogie, and he wrote the Mule Skinner Blues the way the Fender men do it and sold a million. And I want to do it for you. It's a great piece of material. I hope you like it. Son, you better listen to Clackmouth Clacket if you want to make it big in the showbiz racket. You got a big hit, boy, but that ain't enough. You need a fast-talking agent to handle your stuff, and that's me, son. Clackmouth's the name. Big wheeler and dealing. That's the name of the game. I'll put you in the big time, set you up a firm. Gizmo Productions, earn while you learn. Being used partners, just sign your name, and son, you on your way to the Hall of Fame. Side deals, fried chicken, roast beef. Boy, that's where the gravy is. Ain't no joke, son. You gotta get a big shiny automobile and a great big house on Luxury Hill. Great inspiration looking down below for writing them songs about Poverty Row, and you cut them, and I'll plug them. But
But you gotta be honest, boy, tell it like it is, cause you can't be a phony in today's showbiz. Once upon a time, you could be a big star, singing through your nose to a tinny guitar, with a 10-gallon hat and a rhinestone suit and a flat-top Martin, you could glom some loose, but that's gone, son. Flat getting's gone. Times are changing. There's a new put on. Today making records is a whole new gig. You can't make a silk purse out of a pig. Forget about a ragtime and all that jazz. Now you gotta have a message with your razzmatazz and knock some. Hate somebody. Mommy and daddy. Them's the ones to blame. They squeezed all the sugar out of Sugarfoot rag. Now you gotta get a gimmick from a brand new bag. Picked all the petals from the wildwood flower. Now you gotta pedal soul with your guitar power. Start pedaling, son. If you want to get the bread, that's where it is, boy. Cornball's dead. Leave that barnyard stuff for the chickens. The county fairs where it's still good pickings. Old Aunt Martha pays $1.50 for a record and a picture. Free autograph, she's happy. So is Uncle Jim. They know you're a good man by you sing them a hymn. Sock it to 'em, boy, with a poverty pinch. For without poor people, you'd be digging a ditch. And who buys a record that's making you rich? That's right, son. Don't you ever forget it. It's them poor, poor people. I got me a star. Get away from me, boy. You bought me out
here. Duca Paducah, that was real funny, and I think it will live up to anything you've done before.
Well, now we're trying to get material together for an album. And funny thing about this record that you just heard, the reports on it all over the country were great, and the performance on it was considered tops. But the record didn't sell to the public, didn't sell good to the public at all, and why I don't know. But my experience in the past has been that talking records are hard to sell.
They are.
You can sell an album, talking album. If it's risque, they'll buy it like crazy, you know. If it's clean, they won't buy it. I tried both kinds, I know.
I have one out myself on King now. It's a Moonshot album, and I don't know how it's doing. I'm afraid to ask, but it's a talk record. It's a documentary on the moon voyage.
Yeah. Well, we're getting material together now, and I'm going to do mostly songs. You know, I'm doing the banjo on my act. You watch me when I work on the Opry. I do in the banjo. I played for 20 years professionally, and then I put the banjo down and I didn't play for 21 years. And in 1963, my wife said, "Won't you get the banjo out and play again?" I said,
"This old tenor banjo, you mean?"
The tenor, yeah. And
they're scarce.
So I got it out and I couldn't play, so I went back to a teacher and started all over again. It's 63 years old, and so I've been doing it ever since, and I like it very much. I get a big kick out of it.
Thank you very much, Duke. It's been a pleasure having you with us, and I think you've really got something on that new RCA, Victor.
Okay, I'm glad you like it. Let's hope we get a seller next time.
Good deal, Duke. The Duke of Paducah, ladies and gentlemen, and he says,
"I'm going to the wagon. These shoes are killing me. I can get out of this."
We'll be back in just 60 seconds while we're going to the wagon with the Duke of Paducah. How about you, friends, listening to what this man has to say?
Going to do it for this afternoon stage door Nashville here on this radio station. From Nashville, Tennessee, Bill Dunnavant along with Bob Dunnavant kind of hanging things up here on this for today's show. Tune in again next week, same time, same station. From Nashville, Tennessee, for the big names in country and western and music, for Stage Door Nashville from Nashville, Tennessee. We'll see you next week on this radio station.